Irish guy, and never trust someone called Todd. I mean, has nobody seen Breaking Bad? Am I the only one who thinks that Todd Boehly looks like a cross between a Bond villain and someone who probably pays for OnlyFans? I wonder what sort of man could possibly have an ego to own Chelsea. But I think we all know now that the guy in charge is not only a football hipster, but is going to destroy the club. Sure, I know he looks like someone who probably hasn't eaten a vegetable since 1997. I realize the guy probably has his own private McDonald's located in his house. I realize he probably gets his wife to feed him donuts in his sleep. But this man is bizarre, and I think he's going to ruin Chelsea. Let's look at their transfer window, and I will prove to you he's got the management sense of a sausage sandwich. Noni Madueke has just become mainstream. He's no longer the hidden little seekers at the offices of Football Daily. I mean, now poor old Chris Hamill will have to find an even more obscure footballer to work in the conversation at London cocktail parties now.
Oh, how can you not know who the PSV baller Noni Madueke is? I guess it's official. You do have the bald knowledge of alphabet soup.
But it makes no sense. Madueke is a PSV talent, yes. I mean, the guy's got stepovers, tricks. He's the Eredivisie's Wilfried Zaha. Great. He's also got an ankle that's more brittle than an Easter egg. In the last 3 seasons, he has missed 60 games through injury. Clearly, he's got the body health of Daniel Sturridge, and he's barely out of his teens. He is a 20-year-old boy, and is clearly a physio's dream. Why are his bones so weak? Was he not breastfed as a child? Does he just spend his free time skateboarding like a drunk Bart Simpson? Does he pay fat people from KFC to come outside and jump on his feet? Look, he's a talent, and Jose Mourinho actually tried to poach him from Tottenham's academy while Man United boss in 2018, but you're paying £35 million and probably gonna give him a fat 7-year contract when he's got the physical health of my nan. Auntie, by the age of 23, the poor fella's probably gonna need a metal hip. Instead of paying nearly £40 million for Madueke, you should have just kept Mykhailo Mudryk. You know, the guy who spent 7 years in their academy. I promise you, he would like the Eredivisie on fire too. And for Chelsea, he would have cost, what, a cup of tea for his mum? Olise is an absolute star, and so ditching him at 14, when he's now probably better than Madueke. Apparently Madueke is going to earn wages of £97,000 a week. Right now, Chelsea are like the opposite of that orphanage for Oliver Twist, because at Stamford Bridge, they're making all the children rich. Carney Chukwuemeka is a teenage boy who literally did nothing in the sport while he lasted Villa. Yeah, he's now got a guaranteed Chelsea deal until he turns 25 years old on wages of £100,000 a week. The same weekly salary as the world champion captain of France. Mykhailo Mudryk, the epitome of a football manager by, is on a contract until 2030 and worth £100,000 a week. Lads, I understand that it's important to take a gamble on young, exciting talent, but give them normal deals. Even Kalidou Koulibaly was given a 4-year contract. He's going to be on massive Chelsea wages until he's 35. And already, it looks like he's got the mobility of a cardboard box. And it's not just that it's a 4-year deal. It's a 4-year deal worth £295k a week. There's a guy who nearly joined Norwich at 24. Now he's going to be earning £300k 5 years before he's 40. And is he going to play? You've got Badiashile and Fofana too. Bashir Humphries is 19 and just made his Chelsea debut at centre back. But what is the point when his rivals are on 7-year deals? I mean, by the time Wesley Fofana leaves, Humphries will be 26. Honestly, what is the point of him or Trevoh Chalobah, who's now just signed a deal until he's 30? How is this ever going to work? By the way, if you're new here, then subscribe. But also, just a quick interruption to let you know that this video is sponsored by Manscaped. Like, it's 2023 now. I think your New Year's resolution should be stop looking like Hagrid's chin below the waist. Oh Christ, what a grim mental image. Listen, the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0 has you covered. Inside this package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, and a travel bag. The Lawnmower 4.0 features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to help reduce grooming accidents, so no longer will your bathroom look like that shower scene off Psycho. The Lawnmower 4.0 is a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multifunction on and off switch, and you can turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off. Oh yeah, and it's waterproof. But again, I mean, please don't do this at the aquarium. You'll terrify the fish. Anyway, Manscaped are giving everyone who watches this channel a huge 20% off plus free shipping when you use the code IrishGuy20 at checkout. So, what are you waiting for? Go now! I mean, Daniel Sturridge was a teenage superstar, and Chelsea bought him from Man City age 19, but they gave him a sane 4-year contract and £60,000 a week wages, which to be fair was a lot of money in 2009, but I mean there was no 9-year deal that would have broken the club's back if he failed. Boehly is a computer nerd. You just know he probably sits back on Friday afternoons and instead of taking his wife out for a meal, he probably sits there playing Football Manager in his pants with 4 pizza boxes and a jar of mayonnaise. I mean, what are these signings? On Boehly's watch, Chelsea I've already signed 2 Fofanas for a combined 13 years. Whatever about Wesley? We've literally just watched David Datro Fofana ruin his career, signing a 6-year deal at Stamford Bridge when you're coming from mold. Oh, I hope you don't mind living out of a suitcase, because you're just going to spend the next half a decade at Vitesse Arnhem, Derby County and Galatasaray. Manchester City literally have a web of feeder clubs. Troyes in France, La LSK in Belgium, Girona in Spain, Palermo in Italy, Melbourne FC in Australia, Montevideo City in Uruguay, Yokohama Marinos in Japan, oh yeah, and New York City FC. I mean, reports are saying that Boehly wants to do the same. Chelsea are soon just going to be a Club Med chain across the world. Christ, they're going to be like Planet Hollywood. One base in every country in the globe. Fofana, you've signed up for 6 years of being a tourist. Yeah, I mean, good luck trying to find a wife when you're renting 6-month flats with dead mice in the fridge. Lad, Boehly has made 11 permanent signings for a contract for a combined 65 years. 65 years worth of fat contract money. I mean, if you chuck in Madueke's 7-8-year deal in there, and soon that number will be close to Robert De Niro's age. This is desperate. Why the ridiculous commitment? This is the equivalent of popping the question on your second Tinder date. Yeah, for all you know, she could have her grandma's head perched above her bed, or the Big Bang Theory box set on her shelf of DVDs. Chelsea are embarrassing. Right now, they're making an inquiry for Yves Bissouma. I realize he was a Potter chew toy at Brighton, but he only moved to Spurs 6 months ago and has mostly been an inconsistent dud. And this is not even the first time Boehly has tried to buy someone who just signed for someone else. Last summer, Chelsea were offering a £50 million paycheck on deadline day to Southampton for Romeo Lavia. Yeah, he'd only moved to Southampton from Man City the previous month for £8 million. Just admit it, Todd, before he scored against Chelsea in August, you didn't even know who he was. This is the third time Boehly has done this, because they've just had a £65 million bid turned down by Benfica for Enzo Fernandez. Yeah, he only joined them from River Plate in June, and again, for just £8 million. Last summer, if they had acted earlier in the window, Chelsea could have had Bissouma, Enzo, and Lavia for a combined £41 million? You know, 40% of a Lukaku fee? These moves are desperate. The ink is barely dry on Bissouma's 5-year deal. I mean, it's like on Christmas Day. You decide you only want your brother's toy because he's playing with it. No, you didn't stick that Deadpool doll on your Santa list in November. No, it takes you until the morning of December 25th for you to act like a territorial dog. Does this lack of planning not worry you? Chelsea have also had a £55 million bid turned down by Brighton for Moise Caicedo. He's only been in the Brighton first team for a year. On Boehly's watch, Chelsea were sticking in £45 million bids for Anthony Gordon, a scrawny kid who could no longer get to the Everton team. That was a reactive, emotional transfer bid for an average player having a purple patch of form. Give it 5 years and he's going to be playing on the left wing for Sunderland. And Chelsea were chucking in a monster bid. How can any Chelsea fan have confidence in their scouts when they're trying to make the modern day Adam Johnson as expensive as Zidane? Boehly is a man who wanted to bring Cristiano Ronaldo through the door. 6 months later, he's in Saudi Arabia. And don't you tell me Ronaldo wouldn't have been a Chelsea mess. What sort of interview do you think he'd have given for a team sitting 10th in the league? Boehly is a guy who agreed to give Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang wages of £160,000 a week and a 2-year deal at 33, purely as a favour for Tuchel, just giving him his Borussia Dortmund toy. And then Boehly literally sacks Tuchel 9 hours after Aubameyang's debut. I'm sorry, what? The man doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, it's like you and your wife agreeing to adopt a pig. Yeah, the following morning, you divorce her, and yeah, you're now stuck with a farmyard animal going to the toilet all over your rug. Boehly does not have a clue. I've already spoken about how the £15 million loan deal for João Felix is nutty when Kai Havertz already exists, but they're tying up a monster deal for Christopher Nkunku too from the exact same shop where they bought Timo Werner. I mean, they've already returned Werner to RB Leipzig. I'm sorry, but it's like a shop that sells your broken TV for a fat chunk of cash. Yeah, you bring it back to them after you realize the screen was already smashed, and you choose to buy another one? It's like a takeaway serving you a pizza that tastes like your grandmother's feet. And after an hour of getting sick on the couch, you ask them for another? Please don't give them Cuckoo an 8-year deal when everyone can see that buying from RB Leipzig is a bit like buying ice cream from your Uber driver. It's probably just gonna be a soggy, inedible mess. Last summer, they casually offered €90 million to Leipzig for Josko Vardiol, as if it was nothing. I'm not saying he's not a good centre back, but I mean, our former Leipzig defenders Dale Upamecano and Ibrahim Konate really really been worth the hype? I mean, we just saw Guardiola being turned into spaghetti by Messi at the World Cup. Is he really a centre-back who should be worth more than Virgil van Dijk's transfer fee? Boehly, the guy has already gone down the route of hiring a hipster coach. Instead of leaving a Champions League winner like Thomas Tuchel in charge, oh no, let's contact the Brighton manager. You know, the one who's probably still got frostbite in his toes after 7 years in Sweden. But lads, the weirdest thing about the Potter appointment was that it was a 5-year contract. Lads, Chelsea don't do that. They usually appoint managers with caution because there's always room that they can fail. I mean, they get Frank Lampard, Maurizio Sarri, Andres Villas-Boas, Carlo Ancelotti, Philippe Scolari, Jose Mourinho, and even Claudio Ranieri 3-year deals. I mean, the longest was giving a 4-year deal to Mourinho when he returned from Real Madrid in 2013, and he was the greatest coach on planet Earth. Thomas Tuchel had just reached a Champions League final with PSG and was only given an 18-month deal. Giving a 5-year deal to a former Swansea coach who probably eats vegan shrimp and watches Pulp Fiction in Spanish, it's the height of naivety for this unproven nerd. It's like Hollywood signing off on a guaranteed movie trilogy for Owen Wilson to do a reboot of Wolverine. No, that's about as clever as sticking a piranha in your Cocoa Pops. Honestly, giving a 5-year contract to a guy who's never won a trophy, it's arrogance. Arrogance that you think you've made the right decision. Lads, it gets worse. Raheem Sterling has a £325,000 a week salary until he's 32. So, which is it? Are Madueke and Mudryk the future on the wings? Or are you still going to be starting Sterling in his 30s? I mean, if he's on wages of nearly 400k a week, surely he has to be a starter at 32. Even if he is now a burnt out Aaron Lennon, considering he's been playing week in, week out in the Premier League since he was 17. Do you not understand how insane this is? Sterling is never quitting Chelsea. He's not giving up that retirement package because nobody will offer him anywhere near those sort of wages again. Not even in the Chinese Super League. Honestly, give it 3 years and he'll be at the level of West Ham and still just running on the Chelsea bench. I mean, Boehly just copied Arsenal's homework for Rafinha last summer, and now Mudryk in January. There's no strategy here, no plan. It's just trying to hijack Arteta's phone calls. I mean, Armando Broja signed a 6-year extension before Fofana then gets a 6-year deal. So, who's the future centre forward then? And what happens when Nkunku comes through the door? This is confusing. Now we all know how Hugh Hefner felt on Valentine's Day. Which wife does he choose? I mean, Boehly could have binned the aging Cesar Azpilicueta off to Barcelona in the summer. That would have been the financially sensible move. Instead, he chooses to give him a 2-year extension on wages of £180,000 a week. He is going to be 35 and earning the same wage as Trent Alexander-Arnold. And what football club in world sport chooses to have 2 left backs? 2 men who play the same position on a combined weekly wage of £365,000. I mean, Man City walked away from Marco Corella for a reason, because they knew that paying £65 million for a defensive omelette is bad business sense. And Chelsea have committed to paying a former Brighton left back £175,000 a week until he is 30 years old. Oh, well done! Bravo, Boehly! And the most hilarious thing is, you've got a talented, homegrown left-back in Lewis Hall, who could easily make both Chilwell and Cucurella redundant within a year. It's honestly nuts! Omari Hutchinson is a 19-year-old winger who left Arsenal for Chelsea in the summer. Yeah, since July, they've since signed 4 wingers. I mean, what was the point? He is a full Jamaica international, and yet Potter probably doesn't even know his name. I mean, and going back to Madueke, he's got 1 goal in the Eredivisie this season. 1! He's only played 5 times in the league. Yeah, you know who's taken his place whilst he's been sick? Anwar El Ghazi, that chubby Everton flop who's mostly got the feet of Candy Floss. He was one of the few guys who actually did worse at Goodison Park last season than Dele Alli. By comparison, this cheeseburger munching panda made Everton's Ali look like Zidane. I don't think anyone realizes how serious all this is. Boehly is going to kill the club. I haven't seen such reckless spending since the days of Leeds. They invested heavily in the late 90s, brought in some world stars, reached the Champions League semi-final, then the money dried up when they only finished 5th in 2002, weighed down by massive contracts. They had to sell all their players, got relegated, and were soon in League One. Leeds were in such a mess. They were still having to pay the wages of Fowler and Keane years after they'd already left. Boehly is going to absolutely destroy Chelsea in a ball of flames. These contracts make no sense, and Boehly, someone who looks like he eats pizza with a fork, is going to ruin Chelsea Football Club. And I mean, that's one thing. Let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments, alright? Just let me make sense of this. Let me know. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, guys. Always, I'll talk to you in a while.